have a comment really quickly, because a lot of people don't understand what's going on, and they scrutinize families, parents, and they think that they do know what's going on because they think it's the craziest. It's unheard of. Just because you don't believe, please don't scrutinize the family, either if it's the mom or the father. I believe in family unity. I believe in that wholeheartedly. Just pray. That's all you have to do. If you don't believe, I'm not sure if y'all can hear me. If you don't believe what's going on, all we ask is that you pray. If you like for a family to be united and together, that's all we ask, is just to pray, not to scrutinize, not to say you're lying. If you don't understand it, just pray. That's all I say. And just have a heart for the family, because I understand what you're going through with my own family. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Vineet, go by Jack. Jeff Younger, how does the term blood money fit what you're saying? Think about that. Sometimes you have the right terminology to get to, get people to understand. Blood diamonds, blood money. Larry O'Neill, the reason fathers have to maintain their composure is we have the Duluth model, which says all men are universal perpetrators and all women are universal victims. This is what the family court judges are brainwashed into. And so you get a sixth sense. When you go into court, even if you have full righteous indignation to protest or raise your voice in something, you can't do that. Because the moment you do, in the judge's eyes, you're instantly judged as a violent person. And everything from that point will go against you. So I got that sixth sense. As soon as I get to court, something was telling me, some voice was whispering in the back of me and saying, don't you dare raise your voice over anything, because the moment you do that, you will be permanently judged as a violent person. So I hope that helps.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, what court are you in? What court are you in? Are you in Tarrant County?
So I'm in Tarrant County, the 322nd Court.
And who's the judge?
I'd rather not name them by name.
Okay, but what court?
The 322nd.
Okay, that's
All I need. That tells it. With your case,
I'm sorry to hear that. I just came out here just telling you about it. These courts are awful. I started in Dallas County, and I used to run around the court building because I was so mad when I found out in 2016 what was going on. I had no clue what was going on. I went through a no-fault divorce, and all that stuff happened, and I just thought, really, I thought I was by myself. So, but now I look around, I see all these people, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people that's really getting on board, and that's really trying to make change here. Jeff, I see your case, man. I pray for you and your son. I'll run around that courthouse for you any day. I'll run the whole hour if I need to. We can all for your son, Corbin, I pray to God just keep him alive and keep on fighting. It's a struggle out for all of us. We all out here. We all with you. I'm almost in tears for what's going on with you. I thought, I have a case too. All of us do. A lot of us do. But what's going on with your son? That's not fair, man. I'm running for you. If I gotta get out there, if you need, I'm there for you, man. It's wrong. I would say continue to contest in courts. Keep filing your paperwork. Keep filing any donations that you're taking. I'm willing to donate today. So thank you so much. I'll put this on my social media. I own a barbershop, so I do that. work with a lot of men, but I definitely want to get behind you guys. You too, Jeff. What you guys are doing is wonderful. Jeff, Dad, what you're doing, putting all this together like this is beautiful. Thank all you guys for helping us, but it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us. It's hurting everybody, and everybody see what's going on, and we can bring attention to it. I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to help as much as I can. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have you lost primary custody of your case?
No.
Are you
Primary custody of my children?
Yes.
Not really. No, I still have we have what do they call it?
Custodial. Yeah, we don't have joint custody, but
How much time do you give your child?
my kids, I get where they have a court order. It's like, I get like every, the weekends, you know, the weekend standard. But I get to see my kids all the time, there's so many of them, she can't tell. So, yeah, but, you know, this is about you and your son, man, and we're gonna get out there, we're gonna support you. You're gonna see your son. It's gonna be trouble.
Yes,
But
sir.
you're gonna see your son, you know, they have to. This is not no game. Time is ticking, you know, and you need support. And I'm just praying everybody get out and support him. Any way we can support you, let me know I'm here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Robert. David, I have a question for you because my understanding is you're a former police officer.
Yep.
And a lot of times police officers, when they come and see somebody, they make assumptions about a case.
Sure.
And in many instances, a police officer will just say, you're going to jail, you need to leave right now, and they really don't gather facts. So when you were in the police force, before you saw all of this happening, was that a common mentality that you had and other people had as well? And
Well, I can tell you the answer to that question, not the guys that I worked with. I think that I worked under Sheriff Wayburn. And Sheriff Wayburn carries around the Constitution in his back pocket. And he instilled that mentality in his employees. And we always tried to do our best to treat people with dignity and to understand the facts of the case. And there's actually one of my best friends that I worked with for years that's sitting right over here, and he taught me a long time ago that if there's a tie ball, it goes to the runner. If you're not certain that if you're not certain that you have a very significant amount of evidence to prosecute somebody, you don't. Doesn't seem to be the mentality of at least the court that I'm in. But that's the way that I was taught to behave in my capacity. But doesn't seem to be the case here.
is that common throughout other police departments that you know of, or is yours special because of Sheriff Wayborn?
I couldn't speak for them. I've never worked for another agency. But you know, I do support law enforcement, and I do think that the men and women that do that job, for the most part, have a huge heart and want to do the right thing. So I don't have a bad image of law enforcement, although I will tell you that I've been out of form enough to have formed a different opinion. You know, it's not like I was you know, brainwashed into this culture. I'm very well aware that humans are humans and humans do make mistakes, right? The difference is if it's a mistake of the mind or the mistake of the heart. But generally speaking, I couldn't speak ill of the community itself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. I wanted to first off say thank you, Larry, for really putting a light on this. This is an issue that I've really been trying to speak about at all the political events that I've been going to for the past year. Eric Carroll, big thank you for coming down here.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Younger. I look around and I see some familiar faces that I've been blessed to be able to get to know and get familiar with their stories. I wanted to kind of get a pulse of the people in the crowd who have directly been impacted or who's in the struggle right now in family court services. Anybody who knows someone that has dealt with it, aside from that, right? So me and my wife were down here in Houston at the state convention, trying to push with the legislative priorities to get equal parenting. The thing that I'm always saying is this is the biggest issue that our country is facing. What David is going through magnifies how easy it is for parents' rights to be removed and for them to be removed out of their child's lives. I think we would all agree that there's a homelessness issue, right? Drug addiction issue within our youth, children out of wedlock before they're getting married, and all that stems from the attack on our family. There are fathers like David, myself, other fathers, Mark, Robert, Jeff, that are fighting to be a part of their children's lives, and the state is preventing us from being a part of our children's lives. So thank y'all for being here. Jimmy, thank you for doing this for us, sir. Really appreciate it. I just wanted I just wanted to get a little bit of a pulse of the people here. I see familiar faces and I know some of the struggles.
Thank you, that was great. What does it say on the back of your shirt? I wanna read this properly. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So I just want to touch on a topic. I'm not trying to like judge anybody here. I think that my political views are quite different from a lot of y'all. But we have one thing in common. We're all minorities here, and there's all different backgrounds, obviously, in here. And it makes me sad to talk about or like think about the things that I'm going through, because when you're in it, you think that it's like the worst thing you've ever experienced. But then I hear stories like this. It's like, just like you said, you know, like you're scared to see what the next one is, you know, because we know that there's going to be a next one, and it's terrifying to be like, oh man, like this isn't even that bad considering all the other stories we see with each other. So I just think one thing that I want to say is, like, as a girl dad, I consider myself a feminist. So like I feel bitter sometimes, and sometimes I catch myself thinking like sexist ideologies, but it's like just like a feminist, you know, if they believe in equality, then they have to give us equality as well, you know? So then justice everywhere, you know, like we have to stand up for that and just realize that like our rhetoric is a big thing. So I don't tell people I'm a father's rights advocate, I say I'm a child's rights advocate. And when we come at people like that, I think they listen to us a lot more. So, thank you, I'm so proud of you.
So, and I'll add to that. So the question is like, you know, is there disparity in the judicial system and family courts with fathers? I mean, yeah, what are we, 94%? 94%?
At least.
Right now? Yeah, that's not a question. If you turn it into a racial issue, you say, you know, if 94% of black males commit a crime and get prosecuted, and then like 6% of white males don't. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a problem. There's not even a question. I think that it's incumbent upon us to look beyond just that. This is, as parents, this affects us, obviously, right? And it's a problem, and it's completely unjust, it's unfair. But who this really impacts, despite our gender, despite our race, is children.
Yeah.
And when you look what's happening to children that are coming from fatherless or less than father homes, you can see that this is absolutely tearing our country apart.
Yes,
It's tearing me apart, it's tearing you apart, but more importantly, it's tearing our children apart.
Yes, sir.
And this is the kind of crap that has to stop. And there's 1,000 theories as to why. The most logical one is the one that Jeff was speaking of, is you follow the money. And if you follow the money, you can see the incentives. And Jeff can tell you it's what, 64 cents? 66 cents out of every dollar paid in child support, reimbursed from the feds back to the states. So there is not just no incentive to get rid of this, there's an incentive to keep it going. And in order to do so, one person has to be the good parent, and one person has to be the bad parent. That way the child support can exist, and ultimately the kids are paying the price, and we have to stop it. Like I said, this is not, it's much bigger than a male or female rights issue. It's a children's issue. This is children's rights. It's not about, we're adults, like we have to look beyond that. So we have to keep going. This is much bigger, much bigger.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Glenn Terry. My question is really for Sheriff Whalen. I'll wait till he's done talking. Does your sheriff's department enforce the penal code 25.03 of when a parent goes against the court order? Has your department enforced any of those at all? And how would you take care of it? What would your advice be to any non-custodial parent that doesn't get to see their child after the court order?
We enforce all the penal code as equally and possibly as level as we possibly can in regards to that. whatever the offense is, we look at the elements, and if it's a violation of law, we're happy to do that.
So I was asked the other day, I was denied access to Corbin, and without getting details unless you want to talk about it, there's, could I have called the local agency and asked for them to enforce that? Absolutely. But at what cost? So I've got a kid lying in a bed in hospice, and his brother, who was forced to be involved by his mother into this. So if I called the police and the police showed up at the house, what's the cost? The cost is that I've got a child who's going to be extremely upset, who's in hospice and doesn't need to deal with that. And I've got another child who was forced to be involved by his mother into relaying the message that I wasn't welcome into the house. And how's that going to make him feel? So when you're asking about whether you enforce these laws or not, you have to ask yourself, what's the cost-benefit analysis? It's not worth it in most instances, I think, to have that taken up at that time. So I'm not trying to speak for Sheriff Wayburn, but from somebody that came from a background in this, sometimes that's not the best choice, and that's the best answer I can give you. And that's typically a choice that starts with the parent, and not the law enforcement agency itself.
Hi, Dwayne Ward, represent Pissed Off Parent, gathering this information. I don't want to detract from David, Jeff, and that are here, but I actually made a video based on data from Tarrant County and enforcement of 2503. Over a 5-year period, 4,614 calls were made. Of that, the DA or the police, of which there was 12 cases, 5 of which were no bills, 7 of which were resolved, but with no data. Simple hard facts are is that PC 2503 are not enforced in Texas at all. I'm more happy if you go to my website, or I can give you information. I can reach out to you offline here and talk about that in more detail. This is one of the many issues that parents are facing when trying to see their kids.
Well, I just want to say, because normally Jeff, younger over there, for years he has been my inspiration, and I tell him all the time that if he can go through what he's going through, then certainly I can go through what I'm going through. And now we have David, and same thing to you. And so, number one, I wonder if Jeff, if you look up to David and say, hey, if he can get through that, I can too. But also, I just think even if people are not involved in the family court drama, I think both of you are inspiring so many people that maybe they don't even tell you that, because we're all, this world's crazy. So, just thank you for being manly men, because we need that. We need that a lot. And just thank you very much. So.
I just thank you everybody for your time, and I'm very respectful of it, and we're going to go ahead and try to wrap this up right now. For the moment, I just want everybody to keep in mind this is truly about Corbin, right? And all I'm trying to do, all I want to do is spend some time with my kid that's reasonable during an incredibly hard time. So with that being said, I think that we're going to have some closing prayers for Corbin after Chris talks, but I'm about to be done. I want to thank every one of you for your time, and when we're done, if you have any questions of me, please feel free to ask. I'd be happy to answer them.
Hi everyone, my name is Francine DeLongchamp. Maybe some of you know me, others don't. What got me involved in politics to begin with was what happened to me in family court. I have said for years, if people knew what actually happened to me, they would be as appalled as I was. It's a shame that something such as this has brought people together and shed a light on family court. But there is corruption, it's all about power, control, and money. Thank God you're all here. Our voices are finally being heard.
I want you